Morning everyone, just run through everything as usual. Squad news has been sent, so you should have it. If you don't, it is available on our club channels immediately. Broadcast questions are first. Gary will get us started. We ask no social media posting during the broadcast press conference. Daily's embargo till 10:30 tonight. Gary, do you want to get us started? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Hello Mauricio.
Hello.
So regarding the squad news, I take it from that Ben Davies is available again?
Yes.
Perfect. That's all we need.
No, you're going to ask me about names. Now we have a lot of number of players that can be involved every week. We have some injury players. It's going to be difficult, the selection in the next few weeks. But that is my job, to try to be right in my selection. And and try to performance in our best way to try to win games, and that on the end is the most important, to win games for us. And of course, if we are going to recover players and be more competitive during the week on the training session, that is only positive, because increase our level, increase the competition on the squad, and of course, if we increase our competition, we are going to be closer to win the games in any time that we are going to compete against our opponent.
So how important is it that you get that selection exactly right when you're going to a place like Manchester?
But never is wrong or right. Always is a selection, and depend of the result after. And when you decide the starting 11, the same for any coach is about to win. But I think we have the knowledge, the coaches, the coaching staff, to try to reduce the percentage of the mistakes, because we work every day with the player, and when we take decisions, it's because we believe it's the best decision for the team. I never saw, and for sure I'm not going to see coaches taking decision against them, and I am not the exception. I'm going to take decision to try to be right and try to perform in the best way, trying to be close to win.
I mean, comparatively speaking, your record personally against Pep is pretty good. I think you were the first manager to beat him in the league away when you were at Espanyol. First manager to beat him in the Premier League. Do you take heart from that?
For me, that is not a competition in between him and myself. That can possible coincidence in our career. Of course, that I try to beat all the managers that I'm going to face. I love to be competitive, and I love to beat them, like them try to beat me, myself. But I think that is about competition. Football is a collective sport, and always in that moment play Espanyol against Barcelona, and then we are playing Tottenham against City, and it's not a personal competition. Only we can see if one is better than other is to put one ball in the middle and 2 goals and play 1v1 and see what happens. Maybe we need to, in the future, to make a football competition between the 20 managers in the Premier League to see who is better, no?
What would happen?
Sorry?
What would happen?
Yeah, we'll see. We don't know. We cannot guess, And but then it's about to show respect to our coaching staff, to our team, players that they are the most important, the principal actor on the pitch, and of course. But yes, so happy to compete against him again. That is it's fantastic. One season more to have the possibility to face a team like Manchester City and Pep. He's one of the best, or the best for me, manager in the world, and that means that we are in the race, on the same race. That is so important for myself.
Can we organise that and have the rights to it?
Sorry?
Can we have the rights to that competition? Managers playing each other?
Yes, or coaching staff. A competition, parallel competition in between coaching staff. You know, that should be nice to see. And for our players, for sure, they are going to enjoy, and our fans, you know. Because sometimes we advise the player, or the coaching staff are advising the player, and then they say, okay, you are so good at, advising us, but come on, show on the pitch how good you are, no? And no, it's not a bad idea. Maybe it's a good idea, no? To the Premier League, to do with the 20 clubs on the Premier League. Not bad. No, because we are not so busy, and maybe, you know, maybe this competition maybe help. No,
Obviously, we've seen that City are carrying on very much where they left off last season. Are Tottenham better equipped now to catch them?
Well, I think we are going to fight this season again ourselves in trying to improve. If, of course, our balance or our if we analyze the last 5 years, I think we always in every single season, I think we improve in different things. But if we are talking about Premier League, I think we decrease in our performance on the point that we got in the last few years, and I think that is our challenge: is to improve ourselves, improve our numbers on Premier League. Of course, in Champions League and in Europe, we were more competitive and we got the final of the Champions League. But I think Premier League, we decrease in our performance. That is the point today that we wanted to improve and be more competitive in Premier League, and to try to reduce the distance in between City last season and Liverpool, that they were the best, the two best team in the Premier League in England. And for us, it's our challenge. But our challenge, first of all, more than compete against them, is to compete to try to be better ourselves and improving our numbers.
Jose Mourinho says there are only 4 teams can win the title this season. You, Manchester City, Liverpool, and Manchester City reserves.
Yes, I love Mo. You know very well. He's so clever. He's so sarcastic. Sometimes that is why he's one of the best managers in the world too. I respect his opinion, you know, and of course grateful because a coach like a manager like Mourinho believing that we have the potential to be a contender. I think it's important. That, of course, we have our belief and our faith in us, and we know very well us. But of course, that compliment, I think, help us to believe a little bit more, of course.
Christian Eriksen came on at the weekend. He changed the game. More chances in the half hour he was on than the hour he wasn't on. Will he start at the Etihad?
We'll see. You know, we'll see. It's only 11 players can start. I am happy last week how he is doing. His performance on the training session. Yes, I think it's still one training session now, and then I'm going to decide the starting 11 for tomorrow.
Does a player's contract situation affect your selection decision?
No. For me, it's the same. One player that have 1 year in his contract, that another that have 5 years. The selection is not for the length of the contract; is because of the performance. And I think after 5 years, maybe it's a question that you need to avoid. You all need to avoid, because you know very well me that I'm going to take the decision based on only in performance, not in length of contract or personal situation related with the club.
I know you don't know and it's out of your hands, but what do you think is most likely? Do you think Christian will leave in the next couple of weeks? Do you think he'll stay and sign a new deal, or do you think he'll leave next summer?
I don't know. My point is to help all the players. My help is to support all the players until they decide with the club to take maybe different way in their career, and to show respect to all. Sometimes it's difficult to understand outside of football or outside this football club that respect means respect, playing or not playing the player. One thing is my decision, football decision, but that human relationship cannot based on in if you play or not play. That is why for us always is the most important is to respect the person first, and then to take your decision, professional decision. Professional decision cannot affect your relationship, human relationship. If that decision affect your relationship, is because only you can have this relationship, only professional relationship. You cannot talk about personal relationship or to try to develop or going further in your relationship with the player. But sometimes we are confused. In general, the player when play, they are so happy, and the coaching staff is the best coaching staff in the world. And if you decide that no play, or is in the bench, or is out of the squad, you are the worst person. And it's not like this. It's not like this. That the people need to understand that when we took decision or take decision, is thinking based on only performance, on trying to performance for the team to provide the team the best performance or the best dynamic, and trying to beat the opponent.
Do you think Jan Vertonghen will be involved on Saturday?
We'll see. Like Christian, I told before, we'll see. Still, we have one training session more, and it's a player that. Yes, is fit, and of course that is my decision. Is like last week to be involved or not is going to be my decision again.
What about Lo Celso finally? Will he get a Premier League debut?
The same. We need to assess him. It's a lot of things happen around him in his life now. He arrived with no pre-season. Of course, he's trying to adapt himself, his physical condition, tactically, and everything. Is settled in the new country, on the new philosophy, methodology, and it's not easy. Of course, to play from the starting 11, I think I can't tell you no, but is going to be involved or not. I think we need to assess today how he's adapting and how he is, and then to see the balance, on the bench. Can be possible to be or not.
Last week was obviously an interesting game with the late comeback. What did you learn about your players from that game that will help you in your decisions this week?
What I learned from my players? From
last week's game, the comeback. What did you learn about your players that will help with this week's decisions?
No, I think I explained after the game that we start well, but then we concede an early goal and we didn't find our best position on the. It's about, I think we need to all to learn. Myself too is to maybe it's about that it's so important when you going to play a team that plays so deeper and don't give space, is to respect. Your position on the place is going to provide you to have better circulation of the ball, and going to find better space and try to create chances. But of course, I am happy because after a 45-minute very tough, difficult game, I think the team finished the game very in a very good way, showing a great mentality, great character, and I think that is why I am so optimistic for the future of this football club, because I think we have a player that are mature enough, adding some quality now. I think being more competitive. I think we can do good things on the season. That is why I am positive and very optimistic for the rest of the season.
And Dombele, he obviously took a while to find himself, but then clearly came through. How has he continued his progression this week in Tottenham?
Yeah, I think to score in the first game, his debut is amazing thing for him and to build his confidence. But of course, I told, and I'm going to tell now that I expect too much. I think we expect more to provide him the tools to improve, to learn, and we are not going to judge too much in his performance. I think he needs time. Player that in the past needs maybe one season to settle on the team and to improve and to learn. He now, from the beginning, is playing and scoring, and for me the performance was very good. And of course we are so happy, but we cannot add pressure on him. He needs to be part of trying to help the team. It's not can be the player that arrive and is going to be decisive or key to win. You know, that is important to know. He's still young. He's going to start his third season like a professional, and we need to be careful with him.
And how do you view the importance of this game against Manchester City? Because obviously it's still very early in the season, but somewhat of a marker, a tester.
To be honest, all the games are so important, and and if we win, it's going to be massive. In case no win, of course, we are going to be trying to say it's early on the season and we have time to improve. That is the topics that is going to appear always, if you win or if you don't win. Being honest, like always, it's about for us to build our in the way that we want to play, in the way that we want to be during the season. I think after not too long pre-season and knowing working in the best condition, I think the team need time to be in the place that we wanted to be. I think it's not the best moment to start to compete like Aston Villa. I think in the first months is going to be difficult, but I think the most important now is to give the priority to different areas to work, not thinking too much in the opponent, and like was against Aston Villa, and trying to improve ourselves to have the possibility during the season to be strong and try to be a real contender, like I told before. No, again, teams like Liverpool or Manchester City or Manchester United that made an unbelievable investment, or Arsenal or Chelsea, that is going to be tough to play during the season. That is why now is a time to build our way to be strong and be a real contenders.
Mauricio, Ryan Sessegnon and Dele Alli are back outside training, the club have told us. Do you feel you could have either of those back for selection before the end of this month?
We'll see, because we don't know Ryan. That is why we need to be careful with him, and of course with Dele Alli, after his background in the last few years about injuries, we need to be careful too. I think it's no sense to take rash decision with them. We need to be sure, that they are complete fit, but not only that they're going to have the okay from the medical staff to say, come on, now he's in condition to train, but after to assess with our sports science and is going to be fit and And fit to compete is completely different than to fit for training, you know. And that is so important to be careful with two players. I think it's only the beginning of the season, and we cannot afford to make mistakes, you know. It's no sense to take risks for 1 week or 2 weeks.
Carl Peters appeared to have a good game at the weekend. Have you sensed from him that with Trippier moving on and obviously injuries elsewhere in the right back position, have you got a sense from him that he's trying to kind of lay down a marker for you to become the main right back?
I think it's obvious that in the moment that Tripp flew to Madrid, it's opened the door for different players to improve and to step up. And the case of Kyle is to try now to be strong in his mentality and try to be strong and compete in the way. Of course, that was better, was good in the game against Aston Villa. But now it's going to be a massive challenge tomorrow. And of course, it's a player that we trust on him, we have the confidence. Now it's up to him to profit the opportunity to be strong in that position.
The last one for me. Mauricio Sissoko's birthday today, turns 30. How important has it become for you personally as an experienced member of your squad?
Yes, Musa, I think, become a player that provides the team a good balance. You know, was a moment in the last few years that the team we were start to losing a little bit that energy that in the past, and he started to provide this energy and start to improve and be clever in the way to play, you know, to learn and understand what we expect from him exactly, and that I think was the key for him to start to be more consistent, appear more consistent on the starting 11 and be important player for the team. And of course, he's a good professional, he's a very nice guy, he's so big, but in the same time he's so funny, and of course he started to be very, you know, a person, a player that started to be very, and start to emphasize with our fans. And today, you know, he's an important player because he provides the team that balance that we needed. But you know, he's improving. He's improving. Of course, 30-year-old. But today in football, 30-year-old, you are still so young. In the past, when I was 30-year-old, I started to talk about you are an old man, no? But today, 30-year-old is like you have 25 or 20-year-old. It's completely different change.
There was some talk this week that you maybe weren't happy with Jan's fitness last weekend. Can you just clarify that?
No. That is all rumors. That I am not going to talk about rumors. I am happy with all the players. Personal relationship is good with all the players. If you don't like the players and they know you that you are. That is football decision. It's football decision, and of course, it's painful when some player is out of the squad or is not involved or was involved and now is not involved. But that is football decision. My relationship with him or with another player, I repeat like before, is not based on if you play or not play. Of course, that after can affect your relationship, your personal, because all the players want to play. But always I am, before we understand that the player are person before players, and we treat all in the same way, means that we respect all. And then when you pick your starting 11 and 7 players more, and if you are not in the list, of course, you are not going to be happy, upset, but that is not justified some people to behave different. That is not the case, but you know, my decision is always in trying to be professional. The club pay me to take professional decisions, and of course I add my quality, like my human being, because I love to manage the team in this way. But Shan is part of our squad, and is going to be the possibility, or he's going to have the possibility to take another player to play or not, depend on my decision.
He's fit enough to play this weekend, and you're happy?
One thing is that he's fit. Another is I'm going to decide to include or not on the starting 11 or on the squad. That is completely different situation. You don't need to ask him after the game or before, when you are going to see on the media is he fit or is not fit. It's a problem. It's not a problem. I'm going to tell you now that try to avoid to wasting time. He's fit. My decision was that wasn't involved.
Please, can I have the cameras off now? Thank you.